How you doing, everyone? My name is Jamin, and today I'm going to be telling you two story times. They're kind of short, so that's why I'm doing two. And the first one takes place when my dad was 5, and he has a sister. You saw her in my video where I had my grandmother and my aunt play Wii Bowling with me. And so my dad was 5. She was around 1 or 2. She was learning how to walk, so that's all she was. So they were in the living room, and my grandmother was in the kitchen, and they were watching Sesame Street. And my dad was sitting on the couch, and her sister was in like a little, I don't know what it's called, but it's like a ring where you put a baby in and they can walk around, and it's like plastic and stuff. I don't know what it's called. But anyway, she was babbling like babies do, just like making weird noises, moving her head around. And my grandmother was in the kitchen, hearing her babble, the TV, just all that. All of a sudden, it goes quiet. The TV's still on, but my dad's sister just stops talking. Just nothing. My grandmother doesn't know what's going on. She peeks her head in the corner, and my dad has her hand around his sister's head like this. Basically, not letting her talk. And my grandmother freaks out. She's like, "Eric, what are you doing?" And he says, "Well, she was being too loud. I want to hear the TV." And she eventually says, "Take your hand off her mouth," and nose. So he does. My sister was fine. I don't know why I keep saying my sister. My aunt was fine. I think she kept babbling. And if you ask my dad about today, his reasoning is that Grover, one of the people on Sesame Street, was talking about some serious stuff. So that was the first story time. The second story time takes place around the same time. My aunt was still learning to walk. Dad was around 5 or 6. I don't know. But this time they were outside, and they were in the backyard. And it was the people that were outside were my grandma, my grandfather, my dad, and my aunt. So my aunt was walking on the grass, and my dad was just watching her, and so were my grandparents. They were watching her, and my aunt walks towards my dad. My dad puts out his foot and trips her. She didn't fall in the cement, she fell on grass. But obviously, when you're a kid learning to walk and something like makes you fall on your butt, your face, your back, whatever, you start to cry. So my aunt starts to cry. And my grandfather goes up to my dad and he says, and I kid you not, he says, "If you want to do that, you could just pack up your stuff and leave." And my dad starts bawling. "I'm sorry, I won't do it again. I'm sorry. And my grandfather is just fuming. My grandfather did not take that lightly. And my dad really got a earful from my grandfather. And another thing, this is when my aunt was a little older and she could actually write. Whenever someone would get in trouble or someone would yell at someone, she would always write apology notes. Doesn't matter what it was, but she always wrote apology notes. Whether my dad got in trouble, whether my grandmother was yelling, my grandmother never really yelled at anyone. But anytime, she would grab a piece of paper and a crayon and write, "I'm sorry." Because we were looking through a box one day and we found about 20 of those notes. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked it, hit that like button. Really helps out the channel. Subscribe and also share with your friends. And I'll see you all next time. Hello.